and right now, more than ever, maybe?
It's hugely important. I think it's even more important now than it used to be.
You would think that you would need a journalism program now more than ever.
UC Pacific Lutheran University, a small liberal arts college in the heart of the Pacific Northwest. Approximately 2,500 students walk this campus every day, whether they are going to class, to work, to the commons, or to their dorms. Some of them might even pick up the school's newspaper on the way. Some aren't interested in this outdated form of communication and would rather just intake digital news. A portion of these students are communications majors who hope to find a career in journalism. Although PLU has some classes within the communication department that may assist students in obtaining writing skills, since 2018, PLU no longer has a specific journalism program whose main focus is on print, press, reporting, and editing.
I have taught media writing and am teaching media writing and communication writing, and I work with, I'm the student media advisor, so I oversee all 4 outlets, including the Mast, Late Night, Laser, and Rose Window Studios.
Now, students can major in communication and choose from 2 concentrations: strategic communications or film and media studies. Several PLU faculty from the Department of Communication have agreed that the current communication major is not sufficient for students wanting to pursue journalism after college.
There was a journalism communications emphasis within the communication major. You could have I think a 44 credit program of emphasizing journalism, where there were classes in addition to working for the Mast that taught different aspects of journalism. And that kind of faded out in roughly 2016 or 17 during a round of budget reductions that were rather painful.
I think that the shift in how we handled the concentration was a result of retirements. We had a series of colleagues who retired from PLU, and that's great for them. I'm glad they could go and retire. But that took a lot of the existing expertise out of the department. So the writing classes then became sort of more media writing, and the production classes are more video and podcast and other kinds of things, and not journalism focused. You could do something that's journalism focused. Like, I think this is great that you're kind of doing this combo thing in this assignment. But that would be on the entrepreneurial spirit of students as opposed to the structure of the degree program. I hope that we continue to expand the opportunities that we have. Do I think that they're sufficient? No, but I'm sort of like, well, I don't know. You got to go to Wazoo or something to have something that's like an enormous journalism program, and that's really hard.
PLU alum of 2011, Carrie Plog, graduated with a degree in communications and journalism when the major still existed. She reflected on the benefits of studying journalism in a small liberal arts university and having opportunities to connect with people from the industry.
Yeah, and I was very fortunate to get very individualized instruction at PLU. We had a small little cohort of people studying journalism, and had really great faculty members who, what was great about it, had firsthand experience in the industry, so they could make connections. Part of the reason I got my job at the News Tribune was because faculty had connections in the newsroom.
While there's no more option to study journalism at PLU, the small classroom sizes can still provide individualized experience and direct interaction. Sean Robinson, the only professor at PLU who is also an active journalist and editor at the Tacoma News Tribune, teaches some of the writing classes that provide students with essential journalistic skills.
And I think I've really, really come to believe that that's super important. So there are major universities such as University of Washington that have journalism programs, but the big universities have these giant classes, 500 people, and you pay the lower public university rate, but you trade direct interaction and specific feedback and working relationships with the people who are actually teaching the courses. Instead, you're just on this assembly line, and you get far less interaction. I think the way academics is changing, those small classes and direct contact and feedback and one-on-one interactions are coin of the realm.
However, small classroom sizes are not enough for students who are working hard to get some journalism experience while in college.
Mast is PLU student newspaper. It's run by students. We do everything. We make the paper, we write all the stories, we put everything together, we send it to the printer. We do everything ourselves, and we make a paper for PLU. We're kind of fending for ourselves sometimes, and none of us are trained in journalism. I think that we have a lot of great people that support us. I think everyone in the Mast is very into it. Everyone here is passionate and wants to make it happen. I think there's some faculty as well that are also really into it and they really care, but I think that it's not quite their sole focus, which is slightly hard for people wanting to go into journalism, just because when we don't have enough support, that's when things kind of get swept under the rug.
Dr. Young agreed that productivity of the Mast is one visible parameter to the lack of support for journalism at PLU. Along with faculty and budget cuts, there were several years of COVID shutdown, which put all student media at PLU on a pause.
Yeah, the Mast used to be a weekly thing. And I remember students bringing it into class and reading it and doing crossword puzzles. We used to have a very large print budget. The print on the Mast was something like $12,000 a year to put out an issue a week.
Right now, the only route for students at PLU interested in journalism is to take a writing major, whether it is English or communication, and participate in the Mast or other student media outlets. Taking a major that is not one's career choice can feel limiting, and lack of support for student journalism can be exhausting. But Lutz don't give up easily.
So it's a little bit frustrating. I think when I think about future and I'm like, what am I going to put on a resume? I'm like, I don't feel like film and media studies cluster accurately reflects what I'm actually doing and what I'm pursuing. It's just on the transcript, but it's really not who I am. So yes, 100%. I would be majoring in journalism right now. I think I definitely was trying to do that before. I was trying to do an individualized major, and I was told that the classes were too similar to be considered in anything other than communications, which I thought was interesting. But if they offered it, I would take it 100%. I would change my major to journalism.
If my winning lottery ticket ever comes in, I would definitely give a big chunk of money to this place and say, let's put that journalism part of it back in there, because I think I've had enough interaction with students over the last 15 years to know that they still want it, even though the industry is a pretty crazy place and there's a lot of uncertainty in it. But time after time after time, I get every semester, every year, students saying, well, can you tell me about internships? Can you tell me about places to go? Can you tell me about how I can improve my skills? So they want it. There's a demand. If I had the money, I would have them give it.